This is Dwight York.
Hi there guys, it's Sol Campbell here.
Bonjour, je suis Samuelito.
Hola, soy Juan Sebastián Verón.
Hello guys, I'm Chula Yaya.
Hi, this is Brad Friedel.
What's up guys, Nico Anelka speaking. Please join me.
Agradezco la invitación.
Join me in full support of the Islands Cup Open.
Coming summer 2021.
Island Cup Open.
The Island Cup.
I'll be there.
Let's do this.
Good day. Welcome to another edition presented by the Caribbean Sports Entertainment Management Group. It's Football Insight. I'm Vernon A. Springer and Calvin Blankendale. And we're here today to talk to an icon in Caribbean football, an icon in world football. He's from the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis, known as St. Kitts. He's from Newtown. Yeah, when you're talking about Newtown, is one of the top sporting icons. And he follows in the list of a number of sporting icons that would have come out of the Newtown area, but mainly from St. Kitts and Nevis. It's the man himself who scored a number of Caribbean goals from primary school to the professional level for St. Kitts and Nevis, and would have really journeyed all around the world. He would have been somebody who would have also followed from primary school. Yeah, the Newtown Primary School, right up to even working in the same sports department. He ended up in the sports department as a coach. So you know the relationship has been long and deep. I remember the days of going to the Warner Park Football Stadium and knowing that at some point in time, Mr. Hobson is going to bring on Keith Kayamba Gumbs, whether it was for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, you name it. Everybody was going to the park to see Newtown, and everybody was looking at Mr. Hobson to see when he was going to tell Kayamba to warm up. That's how special the moment was. So you understand, this man has come from a real cricketing background, because he was a very good cricketer in his primary school days, played him up to the high school. So he could have played anything. He was also a good track and field athlete. So don't measure him, a good swimmer. Because once you come from Newtown, you have to be able to learn how to swim. So you understand what's happening. We welcome on our platform, Football Insight, powered by Island Cup Open, one of our legends of Caribbean football, Keith Kayamba Gumbs. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you, Springer. What a commendation. Couldn't ask for more, but you know, I'm a humble guy, so I'm flattered with that introduction. I'm happy to be on your show.
You can't be flattered, my buddy, man. This conversation is something which has been due for a long time. And you know, I've always telling you all the time, hey, we have to have this conversation. And so the time is right. We're on our own platform, Calvin Blankendale and myself. We've now formed this Football Insight program where we're going to be able to talk to our unsung heroes in the Caribbean, both male and female. And trust me, we know you've got a lot to talk about. Let's dive straight into it. Kayamba. Where is Kayamba from? And let's talk about the Newtown area that made you.
Yeah, let me first say, like, because from an early age, my mom got married and she went to the United States. I was still just going to junior high school, and we were home. It was me and my oldest brother, who is 1 year older than me. I think I was about 13 at that time. He was 14, and we were living in the same house that mom left us in. With no real support. You know, my mom was a single parent, and it was very difficult for us growing up. It wasn't the worst life, but at the end of the day, it was really tough. You know, because being in a single parent home where your mom had to struggle for everything. Yeah, but football, I think football and sports was our way to, you know, to keep ourselves occupied and be happy and stuff. So I had a couple of young brothers around me who make life, you know, real fun, you know, so we kind of throw everything else behind us and, you know, just make the best of what we had, which was, you know, sports and you know, the friends we had there and stuff who go with us and, you know, make everything worthwhile. Live, you know what I mean? Make life worth living and stuff. So, and there are heaps of people in the Newtown area who am indebted to, you know what I mean? Like, I could name a few, but, you know, start to name the whole Newtown community if I start calling names, because it take a village to raise a child, as you know. And yeah, so I couldn't, yeah, you know, I wasn't short up looking for people to, you know what I mean, as father figures and, you know, mothers and things like that. So, yeah.
Now, Newtown football, how dear was that to you? And when I say that, I find today that the players don't understand the history of the community clubs. But Newtown is a community that you couldn't just get up and become a Newtown player. You had to learn the history, you had to learn the legends, you had to learn the community, you had to learn the people. Tell me who were some of your mentors coming up?
Yeah, well, you know, I started in Newtown Primary School, and from the Newtown Primary School, you had you know, the rivalry in primary school football back then was rife, and you take pride in the school that you represent, and so Newtown football start not only from Newtown United, it start from Newtown Primary School. So I'm playing against Village and Irish Town and all these things. You gotta, you know, you go way back and you see the older guys playing and representing the school, and you want to be a part of it and things like that. When the school play, everybody, the school shut down and you're out on the football field cheering on for the older guys. So I had a late cousin. I don't know if you guys know about him. His name was Dion Zico Blanchett Gumbs.
Yes.
He was, for me, back in those days, that guy was a player to look at. And the reason why he was named Zico is because, I mean, you know, Zico from Brazil. So he had a lot of talent. And yeah, I just so sorry that he had to pass. You know, when the most I call you, you gotta go. But yeah, Zico, for me, he was, you know, my cousin, and he was, you know, close to me in terms of watching people play. And he just had a natural talent. But in saying that too, like, you know, I represented all my schools. But if you're talking about Newtown United football itself, when I was growing up, I heard about Zip Tide and all these teams, you know, in the Newtown area, Manchester United, all these teams and stuff. And you hear the names, you hear like Hobson and what you call them, the Shine Brothers and all these kind of people who people talk about daily, even up to now. And I'm thinking, like, who are these guys? I've never seen these guys play. I never meet these people. And, you know, like, I want to become like these people one day. And, you know, in the back of my mind, like, you know, and then, you know, I always wanted to represent Newtown. And for me, but Newtown for me is Clinton Tinney Percival. The reason why I say that, you know, every team has great players, you know, but there is not every team who has a leader, a mentor, somebody who actually drive your team. And I mean, in Newtown, I think Tinney was that person who drove Newtown, whether on the field or off it. He was just like, he just know what to do and know when to click for Newtown. You know, he might not score the goals, but I tell you, he was in the head of everybody. You know what I mean? He was just, for me, he's like, he was everything to me. You know, I used to, like, before he goes to the park, I have to shine his boots. Nobody else could touch his boots when Newtown have a game. Nobody. Before the game, if somebody else shines in his boots, then you know, well, Newtown is either going to lose, Tinney is not going to score. And this was my superstition. So for Tinney to have a great game, I have to shine the shoes the day before the game. I got to carry his back to the park. You know what I mean? And that was the ritual. And I used to be at Tinney's place daily. So yeah, Tinney was one of the people who I think, yeah, who inspired me to want to be in Newtown team. Yeah.
Carl, the Newtown Spurs, the Newtown Village Superstars rivalry was so great that I could remember playing for Superstars, and Tudor Descent was our coach. And Tudor Descent used to have us run through the Newtown area. And trust me, it was like carnival, because you had the Newtown supporters who had just lived in Newtown and used to follow the Superstars team. So you remember we had like about 26 guys running, coming to Newtown. And the psychology of having to pass through Newtown before the game, and all the Newtown supporters will come up from where all what Newtown is going to do to Superstars. But it was like a psychological warfare, because before you get to the game, you had to be able to do this and just to prepare us for that moment. This is what is going to happen when you go to the park. You have to deal with the Newtown crowd. You have to deal with the spectators who are going to be there, who miss you running to Newtown at the time. But the rivalry between, in those days, was just tremendous. But Kayamba was somebody who was spotted at an early age, from primary school up to high school, and just continued his craft to the point that everybody came to the park when Newtown was playing, because there was this young little superstar on the Newtown bench. I wanted to talk about those moments when you got. I know it's a long time, but if you think you can remember your first game, your first touch?
I remember everything. Yeah. So this actually started again back with Tinny. It started with Tinny because I would say, when I went to Bastard Junior High School, before it was Washington Archibald High, we used to have this high school competition and stuff. And Bastard Junior High School was playing against, I think, Tabernacle in Warner Park, when we had that old Carib stand where our office was. You remember, Springer?
Yes, yes.
And so I was sitting in the stand, and Tinny came there. The junior high school coach was Craig Connor. And so I was sitting there, and Tinny came and he asked me, "Why are you not playing down there?" So I said, "Mate, like, I'm not playing because the coach think I'm too small, so I can't make the team." So I was sitting there, and then Tinny went down for some reason, and he spoke to Craig Connor, and he just told me to come up, and then he said, "Man, get ready. You're gonna go on." I said, "No, you're joking. I don't have boots." I said, "You talk about ready? I'm not even ready. I don't have any boots. I didn't own a pair of boots then." So I was thinking, okay, I have to play my only pair of shoes that I had. And my shoes that I wear to school everywhere. So I said, I got to play, and I'm going to play my shoes. But then what happened is that Craig Connor had a pair of Puma, yellow and black Puma boots, the Maradona boots. And he gave them to me. Luckily, we had the same size. And Craig gave me his boots. And I went on there, and we beat them, I think, 15-0, and I scored, I think, about 9 or 10.
Wow.
And after the game, Craig said, "Look, mate, you will be in this team from now until whenever." And every game, and when I tried to give him back the boots, he said, no, you got to wear these boots. Just take them. Take the boots. And, from that day, like, again, Tinny was my angel in disguise. And then from that moment, I just started to believe more in myself, and people started believing that I had something, because I was really skinny, but I was really quick, and I read the game really well. And so, like, then I went to Boston High School, and things started unraveling. Then I played for Boston High School in the National League in the 2nd division, and things wasn't going really well in my family life and in school. So I made a decision where it was the toughest decision, one of the toughest decisions I had to make in my life. I had to end school really early because, again, like I say, it was personal reasons, and I was becoming a man, and so I just decided, like, I had to do it. And again, the late Lloyd Lazar, who was a mentor to me, a teacher, and he tried to encourage me to stay in school and stuff like that, but I had to make that decision because, again, I was forced to do that for a lot of reasons. And anyway, so my decision was to, join the Newtown senior team. And they was knocking on my door asking me, "Mate, you got to come and play for Newtown." And this and that. I said, "Mate, I can't. I'm in school. You're not allowed to play for school and your community team." Back in the day, you know what Tinny and Pepe and all these guys went through, Springer, when they tried to play for their community teams and leave Bastille High School. So I was still playing for the under-16s Newtown team. And then I got the call up to Newtown senior team that year. It was 1989. And I was still very skinny, like I said. And the coach was Mr. Hobson, Ivan Hobson, who was still very respected very much. And again, he was somebody very disciplined. And so I was looking forward to playing for Newtown and training, playing with all these guys. Back in that time was, man, that the National League had some really good players. Pepe, Star, Paulie, name it. Kennedy Byron, Mem Keynes, name it, man. All these guys. That's when, Sinkis was in their prime with all those guns. And I was wondering, how could I go there and play with these guys? How could I make it between all these good, solid defenders? And I said, okay. And I practiced, and Hobson said, mate, no, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes. I said, no problem, as long as I play. I don't really care. I don't really care if it's 10 or 20, 80, 90 minutes. As long as you give me a little feel, I'll be happy with that. And I used to get my 5 minutes in 1989. And every time I go on in 5 minutes, I will score. Newton will be losing or drawing, and I will go on, I will score the winning goal, or I will score the goal to tie up the game. And it happened that, I was very lucky. In 1989, we won the championship. I was the best player. I was the rookie of the year, and I scored the most goal. Even I was coming off the bench in that year, still scored the most goal when they had the likes of Clinton Tinney Percival, you had Sabo, you had Lister, you had Pepe Isaac, all those guys, I still came out on top as a little boy. And I was grateful for that, Springer. So that's where it all started.
Folks, if you're wondering what's happening on Football Insight, we want to take some time out to salute our major sponsors. It's Island Cup Open, Kick Poverty Out. They are powering this segment. And trust me, we're speaking to a legend in his own right, Keith Kayamba Gumbs from St. Kitts and Nevis, a household Caribbean football name who ended up applying his craft around the world. But we'll get a little later into that discussion. We just want to take some time out to salute our major sponsors, Island Cup Open, because Kick Poverty Out. And I can tell you, Nets are going to shake in 2022, and Keith Kayamba Gumbs is going to be on the field during that Island Cup Open. So look out for Keith Kayamba Gumbs.
When your body is challenged, it burns fuel and energy. Respond to every challenge with Altitude Sports Drink. It replenishes, restores, and prepares you for the next level. Altitude is uniquely formulated with an electrolyte blend and magnesium available in fruit punch, blue frost, and grape. Altitude. Raise your game.
Let me take this opportunity to say how delighted and excited I am to be part of the Island Cup as an ambassador. I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's a great initiative that will give our young footballers in the region an opportunity for them to highlight their product. So I'm really looking forward to it, which will be hopefully happen next year. We know that we are going to some trial times at this particular time with COVID-19. Let me just take this opportunity to say to everyone globally to continue to stay as safe as you can. Also to continue to try and fulfill all the requirements which are on board for you to stay as safe as possible. God bless.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayong Eno, a professional football player. I've played with Standard Liège in Belgium, Ajax Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and also in the Fulham FC in the Premier League. And I'm inviting you to this exciting tournament coming up. That's going to be the Island Cup Open Cup tournament coming up in 2021 summer. Make sure you support it and be part of it. I also want to encourage you to make sure you keep the sanitary rules, wash your hands, keep the distance, stay safe, and let's all fight COVID-19 as we ought to. See you soon, and then make sure you support. Bye.
Cal, it's over to you. I'll give you a little piece of Kayamba.
Yes, Kayamba. One thing I noticed about you, your mindset, your mentality. Tell me a little bit about your mentality, because you said you were small, you were skinny, you weren't really asked to play in the beginning, but when you got your opportunity, you took it and you never looked back. So what made you different from the rest of the guys?
I think, like you said, I think what made me stand out is, and I don't really like to talk about myself too much. I knew in my head that little 5 minutes I will have, it'll be better suitable for me and my team, because I used to tell Hobson, I said, look, it's better. I can see everything from here. When I go into the pitch, the defenders will be tired. I'm a fresh, young blood going in there. There's no way they're going to stop me, if with a true ball or whatever. You know what I mean? And my awareness and anticipation at that time was spot on. Even when I was young, I knew where to go. I used to be in the right place at the right time, if you want to say. So I used that to my advantage, being a fresh player and knowing that the defense will be really tired. And I could see the weaknesses from the bench going in, you know, so I used that. But I used to work really hard from an early age. I used to train like nothing, you know, and I still do. But you know, my mentality, I never really talk that, I never used to talk that much. I used to go in and, because, you know, back in the day, the players used to intimidate you, you know, talk a lot of crap in your ear, you know, but I never used to listen to that, because I knew that the boots will talk for me, you know? So, yeah.
Now, a young guy coming into a team of superstars, you know, the older players look over their shoulder because they know someone is going to have to get less minutes. How did they treat you? You're scoring goals, but I know as being a young player, the older player saying, I'm not ready to retire. The coach is saying, here's the next superstar, and you have to be very cautious in the dressing room. How did you do that?
Nah, man, Newton was a different place. To be honest, I was very well nurtured in the Newton team. Even though, you know, most of the guys, like back in the day, Newton had like 10, 11 players in the national team. It's like our whole starting 11 used to be national team players. And I tell you, when I get there, it's just like, it was always that hand around you, you know, like, mate, we're looking forward to you coming in. And, you know, they want me there. You know, you felt needed. Like I said, Newton, yeah, we had that camaraderie and, you know, togetherness, that brotherhood in Newton team. I don't know if all the other teams had that, but I can tell you that is what made us strong back in that day. And in the following year, like while we on that, the following year, you know, again, Hobson was asking me, mate, what you want to do? You know, seeing like you had such a good season last year, you know, you want to start? I said, nah, mate, let's just keep it how it is. You know, as the season go by, we will see a big progress, you know, but I'm happy with coming off the bench, you know, in this season. So, and it was, you know, we continue it. And year by year, I was getting better. I was getting stronger. I was getting fitter. And, you know, I was a target and, yeah, but still, you know, still progress. Newton still, we won four trophies in a row from 89, and I was a part of that. So, yeah, but, you know, the brotherhood was there. They wanted me there. So, yeah.
And how did you manage your new fame? You know, you're rounded in the community, coming from the school system, playing now for the professional team. More people hear about you, know about you. Everyone's looking at you every weekend to play or the games. How did you manage all that pressure as a young man?
Like I said, man, like never really thought about it. Like back in the time, like I just wanted to play and everything else just went over my head, actually. Because again, like I said, we had pressure. There was a lot of people saying, oh, I only can run fast. You know, I can't dribble. You know, I only depend on passes from Tinny, passes from my brother to score the goal. I can't do it by myself. But, you know, football is a team sport. This is what I always say. My answer was, football is a team sport. You don't have to beat the player with the ball to get passing. You know, that's why they're 1-2s. You play a wall pass and you go behind, the ball come behind, and that's how you score. So you don't need to dribble the ball past the defender to score a goal. So that was my theory. So I never get involved in tackles and all this kind of stuff. I try to avoid that by letting the ball off early and finding space to score the goal. So I can relate to the late coach of mine again. He was my first national team coach, Alfonso Bridgewater, who made my debut on that. And he used to say, pass, space, shoot. You know what I mean? So when you pass, you find space, you get the ball back, and you shoot. So that was his motto. And I live by that motto. So even I was able to play professional soccer until I was 41 years old when I played my last game. And I still had 1 year left on my contract. So, but like I said, man, it's because of that, one of those things. You don't get in conflict, contact with players, which, football is a contact sport. But I try to avoid that by releasing the ball early, moving into space, and you have longevity like that when you play smart. You don't always play hard, you play smart. You know what I mean? So I live by that. Yeah. And I used to play back in the day. I used to play for the junior team in the morning, Saturday morning. I have a junior team game for Newtown. And then in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, I'm playing with the senior team. So in one day, I have 2 games. So, yeah.
All right. And so when Vernon told me he had a special guest to interview, he gave me your details. Because I have to be honest, I had not heard of you before living in Bermuda.
Yeah.
I ran online and I said, pretty amazing career, but I hadn't seen any footage. Yeah. And then you sent me some videos and I'm like, this guy could have actually made it into the EPL or something, because the way I've seen you score goals, beat players, and it didn't seem like you needed a lot of touches on the ball to put the ball in the net, Yeah. So I'm going to let Vernon speak about your career outside of St. Kitts and Newtown.
I had family living in Bermuda, by the way.
Oh, who are they?
My late uncle, he died. My late uncle, Basil Gumbs.
Okay. Anyone else?
And extended families. Yeah, but
okay.
Going that later.
But this will be in Bermuda, so I'm pretty sure someone will recognize you and say, that's my cousin. That's what we say.
Yeah, we have people living in Bermuda, yes. We do have.
I will find them for you and get back to you.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
We're talking to Keith Kayamba Gumbs. I want to just take you back a little bit, Kayamba, to local football. 2 of your special moments that you could remember, because like you said to Cal, and a lot of people don't know this, along with Victor Eddy, I could have counted the personnel who used to be on the road who was going frigate bear running, and you were one of them. And you used to beat people on fitness. And that's why a lot of them who you was talking, when they were sleeping, you were up running the tracks. And that's why you used to always score goals endlessly, because it was a never say, never die attitude when it comes in terms of you. I want to pick your brains a little bit and go back to your 2 special moments playing for Newtown before we get to the national team.
Yeah, one of my special moments, and I will always treasure this moment, is when we played a final against Keon Sun Creek Rockets. And, Yellow Man he was waiting his first ever championship in the league. He was one of our top players, and I just sorry that he didn't go further in his career to play overseas, because he's a talent loss, and he should have made more of his football career by playing overseas. But we can go into that later. But anyway, yeah, Newtown played against Keon Sun Creek Rockets in a final. And all Keon needed to do was draw the game to be the champions in that league, in the league. And we needed to win. But anyway, it was in the dying stages of the game when we were winning 1-0. And Keon scored a goal to tie the game 1-1. And all the fans, everybody was supporting Keon. Everybody in St. Kitts was supporting the Keon team, except Newtown supporters. Remember Soka, who was one of Spurs' biggest fan. He run on into the field in my face. You know what I'm telling you? We used to run on the field when the goal scored. So everybody run on in my face, take that. And they got a t-shirts showing Keon Sun Creek Rockets, this is it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just there cool. And I'm saying, guys, I talked to the Newtown team. I said, fellas, we have time. We have time. Just get the ball up to me. Just get it up to me. And I went, and people will see it. I think I have the video clip somewhere on a VHS cassette somewhere. When I went and I asked Captain Licky Bird, who was the referee, Carlton Jupon, and I asked Carlton, I said, how much time to go? And he said 2 minutes. You understand? And I tell the guys, I said, look, I said, walk. When you get the ball, get it up to me. 2 minutes is enough. We're going to beat them. And I tell you, and the ball came up to me, Springer. And you know what? I missed the chance. The ball went outside. And lo and behold, the ball fell to my feet again in the last couple of seconds. And I passed, I think, Carlos Bertie. I passed him, and I hit the ball between the goalkeeper leg. This goalkeeper, what his name is, the Chucky. He was a bus driver for Ministry of Education.
Yes.
To his leg, and I tell you, and it was pandemonium in there. We beat them. They couldn't believe it. They lied down on the pitch. Nobody could believe it. You know what I mean? That we win that game. But I believe that we will, because 5 seconds in football is a lot. You know what I mean? And I was determined that Keon, it wasn't your year. You know, we had to do it that year, and we did it. And it was, sorry for them, but man, it was our time. So, and I wasn't finished yet. So, and I beat them. And the next moment for me was, I went to Holland. Derek Mills and I went to Holland for trials with FC20. And Newton was playing against challengers and that in Warner Park that night. And on our way back from Holland, I told them, I said, look, mate, I said, I'm coming back. I'm on the way back, and I need my name on the substitute sheet. And I won't be back for the start of the game, but I don't care about the journey. I want to play. As long as I reach back in time, I need to play at least, even if it's 10 minutes. I want a game. Put my name down. And I called Gary Hanley, who was our manager at the time. And I said, Gary, mate, you need to put my name down. And he said, okay, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them to put your name on the sheet. I said, mine, if I come and I don't play, I will be upset. He said, mate, no, your name down on the sheet. And I got to St. Martin, right? And the flight delay, and I keep calling them. I was staying with Wilmot Brown in St. Martin. And Wilmot keep calling them. He said, mate, the guy is here, and he's going crazy. He needs you guys to put his name on the sheet. and I'm convincing him that he named down. But I don't believe it until I see it. So anyway, so when I got to St. Kitts on the plane, the game already started, right? And Nevis Nital, who was one of my great friends, and he's still my great friend, and one who I am still indebted to, who looked after me when I had nothing back in St. Kitts. Yeah, so Nevis Nital came to the airport and picked me up. And I was only wearing my undies from a suitcase. I grabbed my undies, my shin guards, and mate, I was in the car pulling my socks and everything on. Right, so when I got to Warner Park, everybody knew that Nital was picking me up, right? And as soon as the car entered Warner Park, the crowd started to go wild. Yeah! And Newton was losing 1-0. The last already missed a penalty. And so I said, look, mate, I run down the pitch. I only wearing my underpants. I was wearing my underpants with my boots in my hand and a pair of socks and my shin guards. I run down to the pitch and the crowd going wild, right? And while I was in the changing room, getting ready, getting my clothes and dressing, I'm running around in the changing room because I didn't warm up outside. Tini was asking me, are you guys ready? Keith, you ready? I said, no. Give me 5 minutes. I just come out of play. I'm tired. But, mate, when I went out there, I scored 2 goals in 15 minutes and I came back off because I was blocking out. Springer. I was on the field blocking out. We win the game 2-1, right? So I went on, played 15 minutes, scored 2 goals, and I came back off. And we won the game 2-1. So that was one of my biggest moments from Newtown. because the euphoria and everything was so, man, them time the park was always full. Yeah, so and it was crazy. Yeah.
Kayamba, you went on to play national team football. In those days, we used to have Leeward Islands football. You played against Nevis, you played against Montserrat, played against St. Martin. But there was something which inspired you when you got to the Antigua Recreation Ground, when it was going to be a final between St. Kitts and Antigua and Barbuda. And the dead pretty boy Edwards and company, there was a kind of rivalry, and you guys ended up to be lifelong friends. It was always competitive. St. Kitts always had a powerful team. Yellowman, Pepe, Dwight Allers, Deco Huggins, Tilly Percival. I mean, the list is long. And Antigua had some rare superstars. You had to deal with people like Ivor Luke. In fact, Ivor Luke and those guys still talk about you, how slippery you were and easy to be able to mark you with more Quinn and all those guys there, Lenny Kwashi. What was the rivalry like, Leeward Islands football, St. Kitts, Antigua?
Man, it's second to none. I'm still good friends with these guys. We still talk a lot. But St. Kitts and Nevis and Antigua, we go way back. And it goes way back before I started. So when you hear people talk about Antigua and St. Kitts back in the day, the older guys, like I said, Antigua used to dominate, and like it's back and forth. But when I played for St. Kitts, we always dominated Antigua. But the rivalry is just go beyond the football field. But when we leave those lines, we are friends. The Antigua players will come and they will pick us up, and we go out and we have a drink and a chat and a laugh, which is good. And the same thing if they come to St. Kitts, we do the same thing for them. But on the field is, it's just muscle and blood stand the test out there. There was no giving up, mate. It's always 100% between the two teams. And like I say, it's when I'm coming up against Ivor Luke and Marvin Tickle and all these guys, you had something on your hands. So but I relish every moment we played against Antigua. So I would like to see that come back. I would like to see that Leeward Island tournament come back, not only for Antigua and St. Kitts, but to give the rest of the Leeward Islands some hope. The kids something to look up to, to look forward to playing. Caribbean football is big, but Leeward Island football should be revived, and that was even bigger. To give the little boys something to look forward to, who don't have the opportunity to play against the bigger teams in the Caribbean. Give them something in the backyard, and the Leeward Island tournament was something really I was looking forward to, and I think that should come back.
You were a marksman. You were one of the top Caribbean goal scorers alongside Derek Pretty Boy Edwards. I mean, the goals are phenomenal. I was going to the stats the other day, and I didn't even realize there's so much goals that you had scored, boy. I mean, within the time frame there. In those days, what was Caribbean football like? Who you look forward to play against?
I look forward to playing against Trinidad and Tobago because one, they were the yardstick in them time. Before Jamaica, came along. So I always look forward to play against those bigger teams, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica to a certain extent, and I had my full share of playing against them. It's good to have shoulders with the best, and St. Kitts at the time we had the talent, but structure-wise, I don't think we were there. We always talented, but I just think that we never had time to prepare like the other teams. We never had the resources, but we had the talent. So we find ourselves short at the end. When we really need it the most, we come up short like almost every time. So, but it's not for the want of talent. It was just for the want organization, preparation. I think we were lacking back then.
You talked about Alfonso Bridgewater as your first coach, but you would have had a number of coaches because I think you would have played in the team that won the OECS championship. In fact, in those days, you had the Leeward and the Windward Island championship. So you'd have had Sam Condor, Mr. Tuckett. You played under a number of coaches, numerous. pinpoint at least 2, 3 of the top coaches that you would have played for during your national team.
Yeah, well, like I said, my first national team coach, when I made my debut in 1989, was Alfonso Bridgewater, and he was ably assisted by Mr. Lloyd Lazar, late Lloyd Lazar, my former teacher and mentor, and head of the sports department back in our day. But yeah, so Star Elvis, the late Elvis Starbourne again was one who I actually look up to and who was again a mentor for me, who always in my ears and giving me all this encouragement and inspiring me to do well. Tini as a national coach again, I had a few overseas coaches, so technical directors from St. Kitts as well.
You played under Ramos, right?
I played on the Ramos. I played on the Dick Howard. I played on the Gomez from Brazil. From Portugal. There are heaps of them. Carlos Dallos, from Brazil. Yeah, so yeah, a lot of those guys. But yeah, but locally, Alfonso Bridgewater is up there because he was my first and he was a mentor. We still talk a lot about past days and stuff. So yeah, Tini, Star, I could name it, heaps. Yeah, yeah.
Folks, if you're wondering what's happening on Football Insight, which is powered by Caribbean Sports Entertainment Management Group, just to let you know that our major sponsor for this segment is Island Cup Open Kick Poverty Out.
When your body is challenged, it burns fuel and energy. Respond to every challenge with Altitude Sports Drink. It replenishes, restores, and prepares you for the next level. Altitude is uniquely formulated with an electrolyte blend and magnesia available in fruit punch, blue frost, and grape. Altitude. Raise your game.
Let me take this opportunity to say how delighted and excited I am to be part of the Island Cup as an ambassador. I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's a great initiative that will give our young footballers in the region an opportunity for them to highlight their product. So I'm really looking forward to it, which will hopefully happen next year. We know that we are going through some trial times at this particular time with COVID-19. Let me just take this opportunity to say to everyone globally to continue to stay as safe as you can. Also to continue to try and fulfill all the requirements which are on board for you to stay as safe as possible. God bless.
Hi there guys, it's Sol Campbell here. Former Tottenham, Arsenal, Newcastle, Portsmouth and of course England international. The Island Cup starts next summer 2021. Be there guys, because I'm going to be there. All the best. Stay safe, wash your hands and wear your masks. See you there guys.
And we're speaking to the icon footballer from around the Caribbean, from St. Kitts and Nevis, Kayamba Gumbs, who's living in Australia. Carl, we'll share this segment where we come in with Kayamba. We'll talk a little bit. You can go ahead. Kayamba I know you want to come in terms of talking about Kayamba's professional career because you would have seen a number of stats. And then we'll come back and put him under the grid. We'll ask him a couple of questions between me and nothing that he can answer. But hey, Carl, it's over to you because we got the man who just was a marksman for goals. And trust me, once he got a little glimmer of hope and he saw that goal, either left or right, he was coming.
Yeah, I saw the footage. So Kayamba, you may not know, but I was born in Amsterdam, Holland. You know, Ajax.
Yep, yeah, Ajax with my team.
Right. So you having gone to FC Twente back in that time, a whole different environment. I'm not sure if it was summer or winter. Tell the young kids now that want to go to Europe what it was like.
Yeah, going to Europe now I think is a little bit more easier. But back in the day, then there was a lot of bureaucracy. Like one of my greatest barriers going to Europe back then was, the rankings for St. Kitts and Nevis, where they say, St. Kitts and Nevis has to be ranking in the top 100 teams, and then in the world, which was impossible back then. Like I said, we don't have the resource, we don't have the number of players, we don't have players overseas who can, help the team to progress to that level. We had the talent, but again, then something else came up where you had to play 70% of your national team games. I played 100%. So that wasn't, and then there's something else about getting a work permit. There was the barrier where you're coming from outside of the European community. There's heaps of stuff. They have to pay twice as much as players coming in. So it's a lot of stuff where you had to, battle against. So you being there doing trials and all this other stuff, you're going through all of that, doing the hard yards, but then at the end of the day in the back room, there's something simple to deter you from getting this contract. So I was privileged to go to FC20 where the facilities were out of this world amazing. The pitch there is like you could just drop your food and just eat it off there, like clean as a whistle. The grass is like out of this world. So I was happy to go there, and we did a lot of fitness tests and all this lot of stuff, and I was always number one there. Again, one of the barriers too, there was like, because we were coming from St. Kitts and Nevis First Division League, we weren't able to play with the first team because, again, for insurance reasons, and we are coming from a lower level and all these sort of things, which I just take on the chin because, mate, whatever it is, I was just happy to be there in a different environment, a professional environment, and see how things are. And I learned a lot from that. So yeah, I did the training and everything. And then I managed to play 2 games with the reserve teams, which was very good games. We played against Groningen and Heronveen, and I did really well in those games. I scored 1 in the first game, and then we drew 2-2 in the second game, and I had the assist for the 2 goals. And so there were talks about, extending me there and everything and keeping me, and then, but it was a big wrestle in the beginning because the team wasn't sure that we were coming. They don't know nothing about us, all these other things. So I in my head, I was thinking, was this set up right, everything, or was this arranged, or we just came here, by the end of the day, like I said, I was just happy to be there. And then, so the training was very good, professional, high standard. And the games were good. So I had good experiences there. And in the end, it just didn't materialize. So, and then the agent who took us there said, "Oh, man, we got to take it to Utrecht, just across the road." I said, so I was outspoken then. I just said, like, what's the point? Because if we cannot get into FC20, how could we get into Utrecht when they're in the same league and it's the same regulation? So it's no point. Better go home. There's no point. So we were just up and down the place, and then said, like, okay, in the end we had to go home. So I came back home, and then I was bouncing between trials here and there. But it's just not going to these places. You need the first hand to know like what the preparation is gonna be like before you get there. And I think that's where we're lacking mostly in the Caribbean, St. Kitts to be specific, because I came from St. Kitts. And we are underprepared home. And I'm hoping that now that we have people like Atiba Harris, who now is president of football at home and who have been out there in the environment, could change things for the youths coming. Because preparation is key in everything that we do. And I'm not prepared, it's no point going overseas. Physically, mentally, psychologically, it's in here. Because everybody today, they can juggle the ball. They can run fast. They can do whatever. But the thing is up here, teams now, European teams on a whole now, they're looking for smart players. They're looking for players who can read the game very well. They're not looking for players who can dribble the ball. Like I said, everybody can do that now. So you got to make a difference in your mindset. You know, how you prepare yourself on and off the pitch, what you bring to the team that we don't have. You know what I mean? And that's is being in your other players' ears, you know, showing your leadership and things like that. But mainly it's about the way you carry yourself off the field. And I think that we need to do that home, pushing to the players like, mate, you got to work hard. You got to be out there 24/7. You can't drink alcohol. You can't smoke this thing and expect to play at your top level. You know, these are the sort of things you got to instill in these kids today before they go out to Europe and all these other places.
So tell me a little bit about your international career, how it took off. Twente, you came back, but then you actually did make it as a professional player. Take us through that journey.
So yeah, the journey started back with the national team, because we had a lot of overseas teams coming to play friendly games against the national team, and always managed to do well against these teams, and there was always invitations for me and other players to go overseas to join these teams in trials with a hope of becoming professional. And so Oldham Athletic came to St. Kitts in around 1998, and we played them in the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Festival. It was around the same time, close to when the music festival used to be. And so yeah, we had these teams coming for summer to acclimatize to summer and everything, St. Kitts. And it was a beautiful tournament, you know, for tourism and for St. Kitts and to generate economy and everything like that, give the players something else to look forward to. And so yeah, Oldham Athletic came and I played against them, and they beat us 4-1. And luckily I scored that goal. And I had a very good game. And I was home after the game. I was home in my bed. I remember, you know, trying to get this goal sinking, because, you know, playing against a professional team and scoring a goal is just not an easy feat. And I was thinking, like, at the time, I had aspirations of going overseas. And I was saying, I hope this is my day. I hope this is my day. I was home sleeping. And I heard a knock on the door late in the night. It was these, you know, some of my guys from the Newtown community, Baba and all these guys, Springer Window Baba and all these guys, knocking on my door. And I got up and I went to the door. I said, guys, what happening? It's late. They said, mate, no, you got to put your clothes on and come down here. They're having an after party for the game. You know, it was late. They had an after party so at one of the bars down in Basti. And so I said, no, I'm not coming, man. I need to rest. You know, it was after the game and they're having parties. So I said, mate, no. They said, no, you got to come. These people can't stop talking about you. It was the chairman of Oldham Athletic, Alan Hardy, and the coach, Andy Ritchie at the time. And the players talking about the guy who was wearing the red Admiral boots. They want to take him back with them now. And so I went down there and I met the coach and I met the chairman of the club. And we just hit it off and we became friends actually. And yeah, we talked and I had a couple of, I think, water or juice or something. And they were drinking and we went way down to late. And so they was telling me in a nutshell that they would like me to come. And I said, well, you know, I'm open to going. You know, it's my dream. I want to do it. And so, long story short, I went to England. It was a 2-week trial. So I got to Oldham Athletic in Greater Manchester. And I did, in 2 days, Oldham offered me a 2-year contract. Yes, after all, you know. So, but in saying that, negotiating the contract and everything, so I signed up a contract with Oldham Athletic in 1998. And I played like 6 games for Oldham Athletic in the Pontins League. Played against Manchester City, Middlesbrough, Liverpool, reserves, yeah, name it, Farsley, Chester, Blackpool, name it, heaps of teams. And I did really well there. Well, the moment for me was against Middlesbrough with Gascoigne and all of that, with them. And Again, we draw 2-2. I scored 1 and I had 1 assist in the game. And after that game, you know, I had an agent talking to me. He was saying like, mate, like, you know, I know you're not gonna get you with Oldham because of work permit and all this kind of stuff. Again, you know, work permit issue and saying it's not ranking in the top 100 teams. All of this, again, this is not a barrier. And so, yeah, it was a big struggle. I remember the government, it was government to government trying to get this work permit for me, and it just didn't happen. And so, yeah, this agent said, like, mate, I have an opportunity for you to go to Greece. Would you go? I said, of course, why not? And so in 1999, that year after, I got a call from the agent and said, look, mate, we're going to go to Greece, and we're going to have a go with Panionios in the first Greece top division, who was coached by Ronnie Whelan, the former Liverpool European Championship winner, great lefty. So, yeah, and I had a couple of English guys. So I went there. Again, it was a 2-week trial, and we played in a preseason cup. And after 2 days, I was offered a 1.5-year contract with Panionios. And there was in the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup quarterfinals that year. So yeah, and I signed a 1.5-year contract with Panionios in Greece in 1999. I was the first homegrown professional soccer player from St. Kitts and Nevis. First homegrown professional soccer player. Yeah, in that year. So from there, it just took off, and yeah, there was a heaps ups and downs during that time, but yeah, I'm happy for all the experiences that I gained throughout my professional career. So I just look at the positives. Yeah. So that's how we started, and that's how, yeah.
Yeah, I saw your smile as soon as you said you signed that contract. I saw your shoulders and everything. I can only imagine back then how you felt. You were like, yeah, they're giving me a chance to make it. What was your most memorable moment as a professional, and in which country?
Yeah, there are lots, because like I say, Greece is one because, like I say, it was my first real full professional contract. And I've played teams like Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, who are every year they're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So I was watching these guys on TV all the time, Champions League, and I was thinking, like, you know, how would I get a chance to be there? Like, when would I be able to play there? Would I ever get a chance? And then not only dreaming it, like I've been on there with these guys, the same guys are watching TV. You know, I'm playing against them. And so, yeah, so it's a good feeling. So those are some memories. My first game was against Olympiacos at the Olympic Stadium in Athens. You know, full, and you know the firecrackers you see on TV, and you live in that. You know, you live in it. It's just unbelievable. It's not a feeling you can explain. It's just words can't explain it. You know, like it's unbelievable. But the standout moment for me in my professional career was in Hong Kong, when I made the Hong Kong League 11 like 3 years in a row, and you play teams like Honduras, Slovenia, you play teams like South Africa, you know, big teams, like not international teams come there, and I'm representing another country, Hong Kong, you know, in these tournaments, you know, so you're representing two countries. I'm representing Hong Kong, playing for the League 11. I'm representing St. Kitts and Nevis, a small island nobody know about. You know, it's amazing. Like, and then when I played for my team, Kichi, in Hong Kong League, we played against the big fat old lady from Italian football, Juventus.
As we wait for Kayamba to come back, you know, a lot of excitement and stories coming from him, especially playing against teams like Juventus and Panathinaikos, coming from St. Kitts and Nevis. You can only imagine. Yeah, you're back.
I think you drop out there.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I was saying, like, yeah, coming from a small country like St. Kitts and Nevis with 45,000 people, playing against the likes of Lillian Thuram and all these guys who won World Cups with France, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, so I not only playing against them, rubbing shoulders with them, scoring 2 goals in that game. We draw 2-2, and we beat them on penalty kicks. Yeah, so I scored 2 goals in that game. It was a feeling. I'm still pinching myself. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. Yeah, so yeah, that was my greatest moment in professional soccer, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so coming from a Caribbean island, you know, similar to Bermuda, I think we have a lot of talent, in natural talent. There's not always a lot of the coaching on the international level because coaches in Champions League, UEFA, World Cup, they're going to have more experience. But I think, like you said, that structure or pathway before the player gets too ill to know what he has to do, and even the contractual agreements that you know you need to know of before you leave. Are you going on a trial officially, or are you going for training to improve yourself and find out if you can play it at a level? And the player's not going to know that. Most of the time, the club's not going to know that in St. Kitts or Bermuda because it's amateur and pro is not at the level internationally. But maybe somebody at the National Association or the Federation would only know that because they go to the FIFA meetings. So I think once we do that in all of the smaller islands, there's always talent. There's always somebody that can make it. And they can make it in Greece or Japan or Hong Kong. Doesn't mean you have to make it in England, but there are so many leagues. Before I hand it back to Vernon, now with a new president at the St. Kitts and Nevis FA, Mr. Tiba Harris, do you think you can have something to offer back to him and any person, young players back home that want to follow your pathway?
Yeah, before you say that, Cal, you made a great point there, because that was my determination as well. Football is not only played in England, and I said this to myself: if I cannot make it in England, I will make it somewhere else. And this is why I end up in Asia. I end up in Asia because I had to go backwards to go forward, and I went back to St. Kitts because, again, my contractual agreements in Greece haven't been met. It wasn't met. So I, through FIFA, was instructed to go home. I had a year off and I went back to semi-professional in Trinidad and Tobago. And from Trinidad and Tobago, I ended up in Hong Kong. So, you know, like, we got to take backward steps. And because I knew that, you know, with my determination and work ethic, I knew that something would come, because I always think that somebody's watching, you know, the hard work and training that you've been doing, you know. So I was lucky, and I got that kick from Trinidad to Hong Kong, and I never looked back since. But yeah, so and again, you made another point there where, you know, we don't always know what we're going to face when we go overseas, because I went to Sturm Graz, you know, one of Austria's biggest teams.
Austria, yes, big team.
And the coach and the players, they never talk English to me. Even though in the changing room they talk English, out on the pitch they talk only in German and in the Austrian language. You know what I mean? So I was always left out, and I gotta be looking what they do and what to do next. And so that was my cue. I never take an offense to that. I just went and I fitted in for the 2 weeks, and I did a really good job, despite having, you know, not being taught German or whatever. Because for me, football is a universal language, you know. And I did my training, and my training went really well. And again, it didn't materialize. But what I said I had to say, like, mate, nobody will tell you anything. They don't spoon feed you when they go there. So it's important for us to prepare them before they go. You know what I mean? Yes. So on the point now with Atiba, like I said, I made the point before, like, it's good for our football that somebody who has been through, you know, the professional setup, and who have an idea of what it takes to get there, and to see what professional setup looks like. Yeah, but it's all said and done with talk. You know, we need to see action. Like, you know, it's more action. I think we need, and I'm prepared to, from where I am, it's more difficult to do things from here, because I'm on the other side of the world. I'm on a continent on its own, Australia. You know what I mean? So it's easy to do it from America, where I could just jump on a plane, you know, a couple of hours down to St. Kitts and contribute. But technology is what it is now, where, you know, I could work from here as a, you know, some consultants or whatever, giving advice to whoever. You know, Zoom, we do training on Zoom now. You know, we do, you know, meetings on Zoom. So I can contribute in whatever capacity they see fit, as long as they're open to me being involved and to criticism, because I'm not a yes man. I'm one who want to see the best for people, and you know, you don't always see eye to eye with people, but when we're going for that one goal, I think we should throw everything aside and strive to meet that in the best way we can. You know what I mean? So I'm all for St. Kitts Nevis football and to see St. Kitts football go forward. And I've contributed before, and I will continue to contribute behind the scenes. So I talk to Atiba sometimes. We don't talk on the level that we used to, but now that he's in that capacity, I think maybe he's trying to reach out to everybody. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I might be in that bracket too. Yeah, so but I'm here. I'm open. Yep. As long as everything is on the table, I'm right.
Okay. This is a very powerful football inside moment powered by the Island Open Cup. We're here with Keith Kayamba Gumbs. Everyone in St. Kitts and Nevis and in the region would know him from the many goals he scored during many inter-island competitions and national team matches, and also having made it out of our, you know, amateur environment into the pro world of football or soccer, depending where you're from. Vernon, going back to you, as I know you have some interesting questions for Keith or Kayamba about who does he support now, some of the best players. Does he know anything about talent coming out of the region? So I'll leave that to you.
Well, you know, the conversation has been so great that, you know, we have to save a part 2 for this conversation.
Definitely.
And so, you know, we can't, you know, we got to make our listeners and our viewers want more from Keith Kayamba Gumbs. And when we come back with him the next time is when we'll be talking about Caribbean footballers that he would have matched up against, international footballers in the world on a whole. But just to let the folks know that in 2022, when the Island Cup Open kicks off, Keith Kayamba Gumbs will be there. Your final thoughts on Football Insight, Kayamba?
Yeah, I think, man, thanks for having me here. I think this is a very good program. It's a very good avenue for sportsmen and women to share their views in a positive way. And again, kudos to you guys for taking this initiative to give us an avenue, a venue to say what we like, to share our journey with the listening public, because it is timely. A lot of youngsters who don't know Keith Kayamba Gumbs, and one of the reasons why I retired from playing for St. Kitts is because in 2011, when I played my last game for St. Kitts and Nevis against Canada in Toronto, it was because not simply because, like, you know, I played with guys in the team who never even see me kick a ball before. You know what I mean? Never see me play in St. Kitts. They were like babies to me. So we couldn't actually relate at that time. So, but yeah, I think the public needs to know of our past football players. And, you know, sad to say that they don't know much about the players who gone before me, who have put down that base, that structure for me to walk on. You know, and I just, you know, wish that, you know, people like Pepper, Isaac, and Tinney and all these guys had these opportunities that we're having today, right? Yeah. And Yellowman and all these guys, like, it's just sad that we had all those wasted talent. And people don't know about, you know, Mem Keynes and all these guys, they did a human service for St. Kitts football. And, you know, a lot of youngsters don't hear the name. So I would love one day, like, we have somebody from the Football Association you could get interviewed and, you know, talk about these guys as well.
Keith Kayamba Gumbs, Caribbean Sports Entertainment Management Group, along with Carl Blankendel, my co-host, and Vernon A. Springer, Football Insight. It was really an interesting conversation. And like I said, all the way in Australia, Keith Kayamba Gumbs speaking to us. This is just part 1 of this conversation. And when we come back on the second episode, we'll be divulging into more details of the national team and the way forward for Caribbean football. It was indeed a pleasure, and God bless you, my brother. Keep the fire burning. Nets will shake in 2022, and Kayamba will be there.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you,
Thank
Cap.
you.
Let me take this opportunity to say how delighted and excited I am to be part of the Island Cup as an ambassador. I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's a great initiative that will give our young footballers in the region an opportunity for them to highlight their product. So I'm really looking forward to it, which will be hopefully happening next year. We know that we are going through some trial times at this particular time with COVID-19. Let me just take this opportunity to say to everyone globally to continue to stay as safe as you can. Also to continue to try and fulfill all the requirements which are on board for you to stay as safe as possible. God bless.
Hi, this is Dwight York.
Hi there guys, it's Sol Campbell here.
Bonjour, je suis Samuelito.
Hola, soy Juan Sebastián Verón.
Hello guys, I'm Chula Yaya.
Hi, this is Brad Friedel.
What's up, guys? Nico Anelka speaking. Please join me.
Agradezco la invitación.
Join me in full support of the Islands Cup Open
Coming summer 2021.
Island Cup Open.
The Island Cup.
I'll be there.
Let's do this.